I was on a youth trip once. This was in 2014, which is 10 years ago. How about that? And a friend of mine, we had shared a room, and so it was time for breakfast. We were running a little bit late, but we went down for breakfast, and then obviously, at these types of accommodations, they have, the cereals. It's kind of like what they have there. Okay, cool. So I like cornflakes. So put a bowl of, fill a bowl with cornflakes, put some sugar on, and then there's two urns. Right now, me and my friend both taking cornflakes. We get to these two urns. The one has hot water, the other one has milk in. So I'm like, okay, that's for the milk. It says milk very clearly on it, and I'm opening it, and it's filling my bowl. And as it's filling my bowl, I look at my friend's bowl, and he's there by the water urn, and he's filling his cornflakes with water. And I was like, and I'm like, dude, that's water. And he's like, yeah. And I was like, okay. And then we go and sit down, and I can't even eat at this point because I'm like looking at this bizarre situation in front of me. He's eating cornflakes with water, dude, and he's just, he's just humming and eating this. And I'm like, dude, what? You threw water in there, right? And he's like, yeah. And he's looking at me like I'm crazy, like I'm not, like that's not the weirdest thing ever. And then, fine, I'm like, okay, cool, man. Then I eat finished, he finishes his. And then he looks at me, he looks at his bowl, he looks at my bowl. And then he's like, like he loses it. And then I was like, what now? And then he's like, yo, I just ate a bowl of cornflakes with water. And I'm like, yeah, dude. I will never forget that day. Oh my word. I don't even know if I can say his name, but shout out to him. He knows who he is. Anyways, let's start the show. Hello and welcome, everybody. Welcome to the show. It's all over the show, in which I, your host Xavier, really get all over the show with his brain, with my mind, with my thoughts and feelings, with everything that's going on in life, and what's going on. Well, what's his name? What is his name? James Earl Jones passed away, man, at the age of 93 or 83 or something. And that's old, People are like, oh, that's so sad. Like, no. Being sad is keeping such a person alive, because like when you're old, you have nothing but problems, man. I think you're a very fortunate person if you don't have any issues, Yeah, I don't know if I want to be that old, if I'm honest. Like now I'm in bed and I need someone to help me up, and now I have to annoy my grandkids like, hey, Billy, come here. I need to poo. Take me to the toilet. Like, nah, son. I don't wanna be a burden ever, It was enough that I was a burden as a child. Now I must be a burden as an old person. Sorry, no. Or maybe your kids, they don't want to really look after you, so they put you in like a care facility where you and all the other old people are just waiting it out, just waiting, and then everybody starts meep, meep, meow, dropping like flies, dude. And then you're like, yes, am I next? Is my best friend next? Is my girl? That's the other thing now. Old people have girlfriends. They have girlfriends and boyfriends. And isn't that super weird, Oh my word, they have girlfriends and boyfriends. Like, it's super weird when you meet an old person. It's like, this is my boyfriend, this person. You're like, you're 89 years old. Why do you have a boyfriend? And then the boyfriend is like 93 or something like that. It's like, what are you doing, man? But I suppose old people, everybody needs somebody, Like, you can't be alone on this earth, man. And but still, I feel like at that age, come on, man. Well, what does that relationship involve, Now you must have a step grandfather or a step grandmother. Then they get married. Oh my word. That's insane. That's actually insane. And I just, I think about stuff like that sometimes. Like, but anyways, let me not get off topic here. James Earl Jones, man. The reason why he's so special and so near and dear to so many people's hearts is because he his voice is iconic. He was the voice of Mufasa, the original Mufasa. I think he was also the new Mufasa in the new Lion King movie. I didn't like that Lion King movie. They should never have done it. Why do they do remakes? Why can't you just tell a new story? Use the concept of the old story, or use the world or the universe that the old story took place in, and build a new story. A continuation or a prequel, or a totally different story, different perspective in a different part of that same universe. Why remake? Like, you are what are you doing, man? It's so it just smells of money grabbing. It's like, we are gonna make a fortune by remaking a movie that everybody loves, because they know everybody who loved that movie is gonna want to see it again. And I just don't understand. Why bother? Why don't you just come up with new stories, man? You have a team of writers that you employ. These people are gonna write a story that's already written. Like, what are we doing, man? What are we doing? And we're the suckers because we go and watch the things like, oh, that was terrible. Like, what did you expect? Yeah, nah. But anyways, let me not go on too much of a rant. Anyways, Mufasa, the voice of Mufasa. Simba, you must never go there. He passed away, man. That's so sad. He was even he was even the voice of Darth Vader. You killed my father. No. I am your father. I didn't do that right. Let's do it again. And Luke is like, you killed my father. No. I am your father. And Luke is like, no. Oh man. Star Wars, dude. Insane. But anyways, I'm a huge fan of. I'm a huge. I don't want to call myself a space nerd or a sci-fi nerd, but I don't know if you can even qualify me as a nerd, to be honest, because it's not like I have a poster of the Enterprise or the Millennium Falcon, the Enterprise from Star Trek and the Millennium Falcon from Star Wars. And if you didn't know that, shame on you. Anyways. Or is it shame on me? Because I'm obsessed with science fiction. I don't know. But anyways, that's something for the comments. You can figure it out. Speaking of comments, I can't wait for the day that somebody's like really mean in the comments, man. Because I don't know, for some reason I feel like the mean comments is like only happens to like famous people, So not famous people, but like people who are like successful, who are doing well, And for me, it feels like that's a marker of doing well, is when you start getting negative comments, because I don't think it'll bother me. I just think, yeah, people say what they want to say, man. That has nothing to do with me. That is independent of my will. And so I'm not going to allow that to bother me. But it is exciting, I think, to start getting negative comments, I can't wait for that. But anyways, what was I saying? Oh, yeah. So he was also the voice of Darth Vader, man. He was Mufasa, Simba's father. And he was also Darth Vader, flipping Luke Skywalker's father, Oh, man. So, yeah, that's a bit of a it's not tragic, man. It's just that, he will be missed, because he was also super old. Like, that's what I'm saying. I don't know if I want to be that old. I don't mind being old if I'm still mobile, if I can still do things for myself. But the minute I become dependent on others for the most normal things, like standing up or using the bathroom or getting into bed, like if I can't get into bed myself, man, take me out, dude. Take me out. There's those pods. This is so crazy. It's crazy that this exists, right? But in some countries, there's places where they have these suicide pods. That's what they called. Okay, I'm trying to find a better word, but no. I think it needs to be said for what it is. It's a suicide pod. And what happens is, if you wanna, end your life, you sign up. I don't know, do you have to pay something? I feel like it's unfair if you have to pay something, but I guess you have to, man, because somebody designed that thing, and there needs to be money. We just live in that society where we have to pay for stuff. Pay to die. That's crazy. But anyways, I guess they're doing you a favor, so you might as well. Plus, you're gonna be dead, so pay the money, dude. Like, it doesn't matter to you anymore. It makes no difference. But anyway, so they are like, obviously there's some ethical issues with this type of thing, but there's ethical issues about everything, because people who deal with ethics, they have a lot of the times a very unnecessary bunch. They expend so much thought and time on things that have no bearing in the real world, But this is a real world ethical issue. So you get in that pod, they press a button, it closes, you're in there, and then they hit another button, and then the gases go in there, and you're like, and then they like count backwards from 10, and you're like 10, and then after that, no more snoring. You're dead, dude. You died. And that's what they do. That's what they do. And then your life is over. And then your family is crying because you've done this to yourself. And and then it's over for you. And I think when I'm old, I want to do that, because I don't want to. I also worry that I'm gonna be that old crazy person. That one who's like, you wake up, you're like, Julia, is that you? Then it's like, no, father, it's Cameron, your son. It's like, oh, I thought you were Julia. You're like, who's Julia? I don't know, who's Julia? And you're like, well, you just said that. No, I didn't. I don't want to be that old person. I don't want to be that old person. And I'm scared I might be. I might become that old person. I wouldn't mind being that old person who's like, likes to mess around with people. Because what are you going to do to an old guy? You're not going to do anything to me. So I'm going to be like a prankster. Be like, you can't punch me. I'm 80. If you punch me, I'll die. That's crazy. But anyways, which also begs another question, to be honest. And this is a question it's not my own question, but I've wondered about this for so long. Why do we let old people run things? I mean, if someone in their 70s is maybe not allowed to drive anymore, maybe not allowed to be alone anymore, maybe not allowed to do the gardening, like, just as a hobby, or carry the groceries, why do we let them run the country, dude? Like, let's think about that a little bit, I think, and also, it's a huge double standard. We let people retire, we force people to retire when they're like 65, And I think if you're in good health, that's not that old. However, 65, I think the majority of our politicians are over that age. Or let's say the majority of prominent politicians are over that age. Our president is over that age for sure. Why? Why does the most important job in the country, besides being a mother, of course, that's the most important job, but why does that job have someone who's beyond retirement age? What makes... Shouldn't we give someone that's young and healthy and mentally there, to do that? Like someone in there, maybe their 40s, maybe their 50s. That's reasonable, I think. But we can't give a senior citizen does that make sense to anybody? Like, the more I think about it, the less sense it makes. And that's also the thing that they were dealing with in the US before Joe Biden decided to step down as president. Like, that guy was not running anything, dude. They were like, Mr. President, this way. And then he's like, and then he turns the other direction. He's like, no, sir, this way. And he's like, okay. Then they ask him, sir, so what are you going to do differently with the economy this time? And he said, well, the thing with COVID is and the Mexicans, and we got jobs for everybody. Like, what? That's the person, right? Like, I don't think anyone is running the country at that point, to be honest. Like, when somebody that old is in charge, come on, man. It's insane. It's really insane. I saw this joke. Oh, it's one of my favorite jokes. He's like, Joe Biden is the only president that you could maybe punch, assassinate. That's not my joke there, but that cracks me up, dude. I'll just be sitting in traffic and that thought will just occur to me and I'll just laugh. And then the people next to me in traffic will look at me like, what's going on with this guy, And I don't care. I just like laugh at them also because they need to mind their own business. But anyways, oh, you know what? I'm not sure. I checked the time. Oh my word, I keep forgetting about that. Because I don't want to I have such a good time doing this sometimes that, 3 hours can pass and then I'm still talking. So yeah. But anyways, let's see. What else is going on? So James Earl Jones is dead and being old sucks. And I don't want to be that old. But if I was, I'd be that crazy Opa, And what else? What else, man? Oh, I want to say, yeah, sorry for the episode that is only coming out this week. Last week, I feel that I have to say this to you, because the people that watch this show, you guys, is such a small group of people that I can share, this level of intimate detail about my life without feeling as though I'm exposing myself in public, But last week, I was not doing well mentally, I think there's just... And it's so weird because I try to do everything possible to maintain a certain level of mental health, Because I know, I'm sort of predisposed to anxiety and depression and those types of things, unable to really function normally as a result. And it's so funny because I was doing everything. I was exercising. I didn't eat nonsense. I eat properly. I eat on time. I keep myself hydrated, although I don't feel very hydrated right now, if I'm honest. I feel like my lips are dry. But let's not focus too much on that. Anyways. And I journal. I play the piano. No, if I don't play the piano for a long time, I also start feeling off, which is interesting. It's like I'm kind of just letting my soul breathe when I play the piano. So that's interesting. But anyways, I did all these things. I slept properly. I made sure I got sufficient rest. But I was just down, man. I was just down. I didn't want to do anything, Like that Monday and Tuesday, oh, they were brutal, And then on the Wednesday, I was like, because normally on a Wednesday, I will film my episode. But Wednesday is always such a hectic day for me, My Wednesdays are non-stop. Like from the time I wake up to the time I go to bed, I'm on my feet, I'm busy. It's not bad. It's good to feel like that. It's good to be busy that way. But sometimes it gets a bit overwhelming when you're down and out, So then, okay, Wednesday... I take my sister what did I do on Wednesday? I went to go fetch my sister from school and I figured, oh, you know what? I just realized I didn't film on Wednesday. I decided to do it Friday because I wasn't good. Wasn't feeling good Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Thursday I started feeling a little bit better, but also not too... extreme, it wasn't very significantly better. But Friday I was like, okay, drop my sister off at orchestra, come home, I'll do the episode. And I started the episode, but then I developed this headache from sinus because I saw this beautiful tree, and we're in that season now, and it's all already weird, but we'll get into that now. where, like the flowers are blooming, right? The trees are covered in pink little blossoms, and it's so beautiful, But then, unfortunately, you breathe, and then when you breathe, all that pollen goes in your nose. All that sweet nectar of life is just in your nose, and it burns you here, and your mind is just like, oh, what's happening? You develop a severe headache, and you get dizzy, and it was just bad. So I did the episode, right? And then, like, maybe 30 minutes in, my brain just stopped working. I could not think of a word to say, just a word, And that's obviously unusual for me. If I can't say words, dude, I'm not okay. So I just sort of like accepted, okay, I took the L for the week. It was a loss of a week. It's fine. I still managed to see to all my responsibilities, even though it was really tough. But I was like, okay, you know what? It's fine. I will do the episode next week. I'm also trying to optimize things a little bit, I was talking to my brother and sister yesterday because they were in my room. And it's always weird when there's more than one person in my room, I guess. And this time it was 3. So my schedule was open on my computer, and then they were just like, commenting about it. And I was saying, my schedule is constantly in flux. It's never permanent, because I'm constantly trying to improve it, trying to find the best way to approach everything that needs to be done in a day and everything that I want to do in the day, and finding that balance and streamlining it so that I don't run into any scheduling issues, double booking, or have to neglect one activity for the sake of another, or perform a task and get so wrapped up in it that I forget the other responsibilities that I need to take care of, And so now I'm like, okay, if Wednesdays are too hectic, that's clearly a scheduling issue. Let me see if I can't take something out of Wednesday and move it to Tuesday or to Thursday, So I figured, okay, since I like posting on Fridays, I can't film on Thursday. That's a scheduling nightmare. So I was like, okay, fine, Tuesday. So that's what I'm gonna do from now on. I hope it works for the best. And so far so good, today was just one of those days. Oh, you know what happened today? So I work at a school, right? As the organist of a school chapel, right? And I think I can say St. Andrews. I work at St. Andrews in Bloemfontein, St. Andrews School for Boys. It's really an awesome place. It's an awesome place to work. It's a beautiful culture to be a part of. It's more than a school, dude. It's more than a school. That place is special, I can see why people love that place. Why they have this culture that is maintained beyond your time at the school. Because when you're done at the school, you come back every year, like a sort of reunion where everybody who's ever been at that school gets together and celebrates the school in that way. I can see exactly why. But anyways, so I work with the choir. I assist the choir master in his duties, as organists do. And we had been preparing for a performance. Did I say that right? Preparing for a performance. Why did that sound weird just now? Anyways, we've been preparing for a performance. And in my head, I'm like, I wake up early, I wash, get dressed, have breakfast, take my sister to school, go to work, because the performance is today. And I didn't read my WhatsApp messages, and I realized what I do is, when it's a long message, I read the first 3 lines, and then I establish that I know what this is about, and then I'm out of there, And big mistake that I did, dude, because I didn't see that the date was actually for the 17th of September, which is next Tuesday, dude. It's not this Tuesday. So I went to work for nothing. And then I came back home. I felt a little embarrassed. I felt a little silly, but it wasn't too bad, So I also like, and I think this is what journaling is doing, is when I journal, I'm able to sort of, what's the word? Just jettison my feelings out and where I can rather focus on thinking and on doing, So that's an interesting thing. I can just sort of evacuate, just drain all my emotions out to make room for, for thoughts, for thinking silly things, and for doing what needs to be done, pursuing goals and what is it? Shouldering my responsibilities. Soldiering or shouldering? Both sounds right. But anyways, one of them is probably wrong. Maybe both is wrong. I don't know. You can tell me. Tell me in the comments. Give me something negative there in the comments. But anyways, so I'm here, and I'm having a good time. By the way, if you're new to the show, please subscribe. I keep forgetting to ask. Please do subscribe. If you're watching and you haven't subscribed already, just subscribe. You don't have to be like a loyal subscriber to the show, whatever, but everyone who subscribes, it really does help, because obviously I want this to grow into something bigger and better, and I want to get to the point where I don't need to finance it myself, where YouTube can give me the financial resources to continue to build this thing that I do, So yeah, that's the mission, Even though that's maybe not the original intention of this podcast, I just like doing it. I thought it would be fun, and it's always been fun. And we are still approaching the next phase, which is to have guests on. And that's also something that I've learned last week, just because I haven't done much normal things, like doing the podcast or reading much. What was interesting was, like, I learned something about life, and this is, I think, something you learn as an adult. It's just that there's a lot of things that you are new to, and as a result, your idea of how much time things take is way off. It's inaccurate, and you learn it the hard way, because I've been saying, I've been saying since maybe June or May that I'm going to have guests on the show. And that still hasn't happened. It's September, dude. But yeah, I think it's just because I didn't anticipate how long it would take for me to, first of all, save to get the to get the necessary equipment, because I need an additional mic and another set of headphones and a stand and cables and a different interface, because my interface right now only takes one microphone. So yeah, so that's just a little behind the scenes information about that. Because a lot of people who like, hey, can I be on the show, and I'm always careful of people who are like, I want to be on the show, because I'm like, I don't know, man, this is a invitation only thing, and you're trying to jump in here. I'm not a very big fan of that. I'm always wary of that, I think we need to be careful when it comes to people's intentions, because it's like, we've never spoken before ever, and you want to come onto the show. Man, what's that all about? Are you just looking for clout? Not that I can provide you with clout either. This is not a very popular show. There are more views on my announcements for this episode, or the announcements for my show is viewed more than the actual show. And I suppose that's normal. It's a funnel, right? Marketing is a funnel, because you market to a broad audience, right? And that's now everybody who sees what you're posting, or rather everyone who you intend to see, right? And that's everyone on your social media, right? But then it narrows down further to the people who actually use the social media in their time, because not people who have social media accounts don't necessarily use it, right? Then it's the people that use it, and then it narrows down even further to the people who see what you've posted, and narrows down even further to the people who will click or react to what you've posted, and then narrows down even further to the people who will click the link. And then even after they click the link just to see, hey, what's this all about, it opens on YouTube, and then they're like, oh, okay, that's what it is, and then they close it, right? And that's not really a view. I think a view has to be like 30 seconds, 60 seconds, something like that. I'm not even sure. I don't know. But then it's the people who will click on the link and stay. And that's the bottom of the funnel. And that's you. And that's you. And you're awesome for that. Because we're pretty much, into it now. We're pretty deep into it. Where's the time? Okay. Yeah, we're halfway through, I think. Or almost halfway. Maybe past halfway, depending on how the editing goes, But I don't like to cut too much out of the show as well, because because I believe like it needs to be genuine. You need to feel like you're having a conversation with me. And I'm very much against editing, because editing is a dangerous thing. Like, not editing in the sense that you need to clean it up and make it look presentable, but where, things are being cut out, omitted, that's dangerous, because it's a problem I have with taking things out of context, It's like you've taken, someone said this and this and this, they have established the context, right? They've said a statement, maybe a controversial statement, but maybe it wouldn't be as controversial if the context was taken into account. But then after that, something else was said to back up or explain what was just said. And we cut that part out, and we only give you the statement that on its own seems pretty terrible. And that happens to comedians, it happens to podcasters, and it happens to a lot of people. That's what cancel culture is all about, taking things out of context and then using outrage to end somebody's career or just disturb them in some way, because you get offended. You get offended on behalf of people, which is wild. I wonder what's gonna happen one day if people try to cancel me. That'll be an interesting thing, because right now, like, I'm trying to just keep everything, above board in terms of what I say. I really don't want to take advantage of people's outrage. That's silly. That's what people do when those are clout chasers. They'll say inflammatory things even if they don't mean it, just so that they can get views, and I don't know, that doesn't seem like a sustainable model to me. But then you also get people who innocently say something controversial that is viewed as controversial rather than actually being controversial, And that's something interesting that I've been reading about. I've been reading this book here, The Teachings of a Stoic. Very cool. And this book, okay, there's two parts to this book. The first part is Selected Discourses, and the other part is the Enchiridion. So I'm there by the Selected Discourses part, and that's just where Epictetus, who was, yes, I don't know, is he Greek or Turkish, but he lived in Rome. He was born a slave. He lived a pretty brutal life. He's disabled as well, because his master tortured him to the point where his leg stopped working, or his leg just atrophied or something. I don't know. They're not very clear on what exactly happened, but this is a long time ago. This is maybe 2,000 years ago, maybe a bit less than 2,000 years ago. But anyways, in Rome, and the book is kind of written by someone who was just taking notes of his lectures. He was giving lectures. He was basically just sharing his philosophy with people. And a lot of what he says is like, if something is not in your will, meaning if it doesn't depend on you, on your actions or your words, if what you say and do cannot change whatever's happening, you need to, it becomes irrelevant. You don't even think about it. Don't waste any time on that. Focus only on that which you can actually change. Focus on that which you can actually do something about. What is in your will. Don't worry about what is independent of your will. And I like that. I like that very much. Because imagine how little you might be bothered in life if you can truly only pay attention to the things that you can do something about. Because what is the point, Like he even says, this is what I was reading most recently. What stood out to me was, first of all, that our bodies are also going to be independent of our will at times. Meaning, if you want to take my hand off, fine, that's a part of my body. You haven't taken me. That's just my my body, my flesh, this vessel that I inhabit. It's not me. You can put my body in prison, but you will never put me in prison. You know? I love that. I love that kind of thinking, because it's like, obviously that will probably never happen to me or to you. But it's such a important distinction to make, because it's true. You know? This is just a body. It's just a vessel. Who you are is just inside there. That's all. You know? And what that means is that, I mean, if that's literally this is your vehicle. This is how you interface with the world, your body. Everything outside of that is probably not anything got to do with, it doesn't have anything to do with you, you know? So I like that, because now it's like, okay, life doesn't suck. It just is life. You know? Oh man, like what a cool perspective to have, because now I feel like whether things are unfair, like the thing is that's the thing. Life might seem unfair. It is the appearance of it, but more often than not, the appearance of something is not what it is. You know? If this is just my body, this is how I look, this is how I dress, but it's not who I am. It can never be who I am. It can maybe be a reflection of who I am, but that's also questionable, because I choose what to wear. I choose how to keep my hair. I choose how to, look after my skin or my body or whatever. But it's not me. It's not me. It's just a reflection of me. So that's super interesting, man. Like even there's also like questions, because people come to his classes to ask him questions, like or maybe he'll just decide to pick on someone, and that's the most recent passage that I read was super interesting, because it says there that somebody walked in with like a really nice outfit on, really brand new and very expensive, and lots of jewelry and all that. And then Epictetus, obviously looks at this guy and just be like, you don't even understand what this philosophy is about, And he's really digging into him, but it's harsh, but it's not unfair, He's saying stuff like, does it really matter what you look like? If you're here to learn about living life according to nature, not according to nature, but conforming yourself to nature, meaning just being a part of it. You are one element, one cell of a huge organism that is the earth. With that in perspective, is what you're wearing, does that make a difference? Does it matter? And what he's basically saying is like, don't waste any time on your appearance. Like, yes, you need to be healthy, so your body needs to be strong. You need to make sure you're eating properly, and as a result, you're going to look good, but that's not the intention. It shouldn't be the intention. He's also saying, if it's cold, you're going to dress warmly. Why does it need to be the most expensive item? Why does it have, I like that, because it's like, because it prevents me from not being distracted with, let's call it, the earthly pleasures, the earthly conveniences, the earthly luxuries, the nice car and the nice outfit and the beautiful sneakers and the expensive, sunglasses or what nonsense, whatever. And the more I read about it, the more I feel so free from the world, because it's really just our perspective that ties us to the earth, man. It's our perspective. And when I say the earth, I just mean earthly things, earthly pleasures, earthly, you know what I mean, man. Material things. And that's actually what I should say, because nature is part of the earth. That's life. That's what we call life. It's just that God's will be done. We can't get upset about it. It's gonna happen. You cannot defy God's will. It's a ridiculous thing to even conceive of, because with or without you, God's will be done. Meaning, God's will is independent of your will, and therefore, don't worry about it. Don't get bothered by it, Like, yes, things happen that are devastating and painful, but to waste any further energy on it is wrong. Essentially, it's wrong, because life cannot, and this is what I was saying earlier, life cannot be good or bad. It just is. It's how we see it that makes it good or bad. Like that. And that takes me back to the comment thing even. Like, people will make good comments, but those are good according to who? According to them and you, maybe. That's agreed on, that they've said something good and you recognize it as something good. Then there's people that'll say something bad about you. You recognize it as something bad. But if you just recognize it as that person is saying this, it's not really dependent on you. That person has that opinion. That person sees things that way, And what you also have to realize is that a lot of people don't, and this is also a big theme in the book, is that when it comes to other people, most people are going to be focused on the natural, focused on the material. They're going to be concerned, their biggest concerns are things that are probably not in their will. Do you want to be like that person? Or would you rather be free from it? And that's what I like. So I'm enjoying reading this book. Definitely one of my favorite books so far. It might make its way up to number one. Quite a profound thing, and I don't know why the Stoic philosophy has kind of stood out to me as one that I enjoy learning about, because it's become a significant interest of mine, is the Stoic philosophy, because it seems so practical. It seems so possible to do. Like it's like not easy by any means, but it seems to work so well for anyone who is trying to just live a good life without being wrapped up in nonsense. Because most of everything is nonsense, really. It doesn't make any sense, does it? But because it's nonsense and because it doesn't make sense, leave it alone. Don't worry about it. Focus on what you can do. Focus on what is in your power, I love that because we all have power. We do. It's just that we feel powerless because our thoughts and our actions are directed towards things that are not in our power at all. And of course, you're going to feel powerless then. Of course, you're going to feel like you have no power. You're going to feel like you have no influence over your direct environment. And that's not true. You're just looking in the wrong place. So that's what I'm learning about that, and that's for me something super interesting. I keep moving around, shifting about, because I don't like sitting still, to be honest. Maybe one day I'll do an episode on the treadmill. Wouldn't that be interesting? I'm just then I'm just like, hello everybody, welcome to the I don't want to do that. Nah, forget about that, dude. Forget about that. Imagine if you know what, maybe I should do that. That's a pretty unique idea. Like, and then I have a guest on it, and me and my guest are just on the treadmill. Or maybe he or she is gonna be on the elliptical, and I'll just be like, so I heard you were busy with a doctoral thesis. Tell me what is it gonna be about? Like imagine doing that. Or you're like, also, what was it like being in the military for 20 years? Like just asking the real questions, and then they busy exercising with me. That's insane. Nah. We should not do that. But it's fun to think about. What else, man? What else is going on? What else is going on? I don't know. I try to look up the news. But it's all bad, dude. Like, it's like, when you, You know when you where like like I just imagine a story of there's the kids and they're like, mommy and daddy, we're bored. And it's like, oh, let's put the TV on. And then you put the TV on and the world is on fire. People are screaming. Okay, we change the channel there, and there's a flood and everybody's drowning. Okay, we're gonna go to the next channel, and then there's an earthquake and buildings are falling apart. Okay, next one. Okay, there's a war. People are blowing each other up and shooting each other. Okay, next, and then you're just like, okay, now I'm just gonna switch the TV off. Let's play a game rather, and that's what it feels like to. That's what it feels like to watch the news. To read the news a little bit, It's like, I don't know why. We're just talking about the bad people. Like, we're talking about bad people. We're talking about bad things that are happening. Oh my god. Oh, why am I yawning? But I did get up early, man. But now's not the time to yawn anyways. I actually still don't know what time it is. Alright, we're gonna be done soon actually. Let's see. Yeah, we're about 45 minutes in. I really am trying to keep it under an hour. Or just over an hour, But anyways, what was I talking about? Oh yeah, the news. So now I'm like, okay, what is what is happening, And then I saw one that actually stood out to me. And it was saying that South Africa should brace for another cold front. Now, and I guess this is where we're at right now, because just last week it was super hot, dude. It was like 30 degrees. I think last week, Wednesday or Thursday, it was like 30 degrees. And the rest of the week was like 28, 29, 27, And, it makes sense because we're entering springtime. It's warmer. The winter's over. It's past. It's done. And yet, it's cold, dude. This morning was like 5 degrees outside, And so I decided to investigate. And my investigation didn't turn up much. Because I was like, why is it so cold? Why does South Africa have all this freak weather? Over the past few years, we've been having this freak weather that just never happens. Like, what is happening, And because it's so dramatic, and there's an easy explanation. Oh, it's climate change, it's global warming, we're ruining the earth. It's like, okay, but how? How is it affecting, and why now? When emissions are not really at an all-time high, why is this happening now? Okay, so then I look it up, can't find anything. Okay, cool. And this is how I know that the social media's algorithm is paying attention to our Google searches and all that stuff. This is how I know. Because then I open TikTok and then I start seeing videos about this blob anomaly. They call it the blob. And apparently so there's Africa, the coast of Africa, the southern coast of Africa. And across a bit of the ocean is the Antarctic. And not halfway, but somewhere in between those two coastlines, there's this island. Okay? I forgot what the island is called. I tried to search it, but I forgot. Like, how do you search for something of the name that you don't know? So I'm just like, okay, whatever. So I saw this video, and I keep seeing a bunch of these videos now, and that's what's taking me down the rabbit hole, dude. And you know how that happens with me, man. When I'm up at night, I'm following the rabbit hole. I'm going down there. So I went down there, and literally, what's happening is there used to be an island on Google Maps that is no longer there, dude. It's no evidence of an island ever having existed there, right? But what's happening is where this island is, when they do, the weather satellites, like how they have that those heat, I guess that's infrared, right? The one that's like, that shows like the different heat signatures and all those kinds of things. I don't know what that is. But you can see like there's something that's sort of emanating from where the vicinity of that island is towards South Africa, towards where we are, And every single time this blob appears, right? Not long after that, we have weird weather. And then what makes that even weirder, right, is the fact that NASA is busy, they busy with their ships. They're doing research in that area, but they're not telling anyone what it's about. It's top secret. We just know that they're there. That's weird. Hello? Somebody explain. Like, what's that all about? I don't know. Like, I'm not a big maybe I am a big conspiracy theorist, but I don't go looking for conspiracies. But this is a pretty glaring thing. Like, we have weird weather. The weather patterns are showing something weird is happening from this area towards South Africa, and every time it happens, we get freak weather. We get tornadoes in Durban, landslides. The ocean is washing Cape Town away. Veld fires, cold in warm weather. Like, what is happening? And so I don't know. Maybe this is my theory. Okay. So we've had weapons over time as human beings, right? And I said this before. Our wisdom is way, way behind our innovation. We are an innovative species, human beings. That's what we do. We create. We solve problems. We improve things. We do better. We're like, technology. That's what technology is. It's the result of our drive to innovate. But our wisdom is not that fast. It's way behind. So maybe we need to slow down the innovation, dude. Or maybe we need to start solving other problems, better problems. Now we're like, how do we make a better iPhone? And we're like, it's the same phone, dude. It's just more expensive and it has a new name. That's literally what they do. Like, there's not much to improve on. So why don't we take all those cool, smart people that develop phones and that, try to improve technology. Let's shift their focus to solving world hunger or whatever. Solving hunger in the world and poverty and homelessness. Like, those are serious issues. Or maybe innovate in the realm of education. Find a way to feed education into our brains instead of boring us to death in 3-hour lectures about electricity or some crazy things like that. They really do that at university. It's ridiculous, man. Nobody can pay attention that long. Like, don't even play. Like, what is the point of what you're doing? Anyways, let me not rant about that. But we design weapons, right? We design weapons. And that is always an exciting technology for people. So they develop more and more weapons. We found we can shoot guns. If I do this, someone far away is gonna die. Cool. That's fun. Then, if I press this button, this bomb is gonna fly. We'll know exactly where it flies to because we've told it where to fly to. And when it reaches its destination, it will explode and kill everybody in that area. Okay, missiles. That's what that is. Okay. Now, we're going to make something that if it explodes, will wipe out an entire city. Okay. All right. Fantastic, dude. You're scaring me now, but okay. Fine. It's like, you remember that thing, that bomb that wiped out a whole city? Yeah. What about it? Well, we designed another one that's now 1,000 times more powerful. Why? Why? It's like, no, if this thing is detonated, it will alter the course of the earth. Like, it will move our direction. Why? What are you doing, man? And now, I think we've taken another direction. We're using weather, right? And they know they can aim it at South Africa. Why? Because South Africans don't care about anything, dude. We're just trying to survive in this place, man. This place is the wild. Like, they say like South Africa is sort of like, or many parts of South Africa is sort of like an urban jungle, in that in most urban areas there's a lot of trees, and that's true. In Bloemfontein, wherever you go, you're gonna find trees. It's actually pretty cool. The fact that we've preserved that, the ecology a little bit, but that should tell us something, dude. We are in nature. We are in the world. We are in the wild, you know? I mean, there's wild animals sometimes that run around, you know? So yeah, we're in the wild, but we're all just trying to survive. We have insane people that's in charge who steal outrageous amounts of money to the detriment of their own people, you know? Which is messed up, you know? It's like there's so many places where people don't have a house. They build a little shelter. That's their permanent dwelling, is a little shelter. Man. And then there's a fire, and that just wipes out their shelter. Now they don't have a place to stay. But we're not going to do anything to help them, you know? But anyway, so we live in such a place. That's the environment we live in, where it's sort of like the third world and the first world sort of have this very weird relationship, right? Lots of parts of our country is first world, lots of parts of our country is third world, but I also don't buy the whole third world and first world thing, because it doesn't make any sense. Okay, no country is completely first world. Most countries are completely third world. But anyways, we live in such an environment. Okay, we don't have time to care about the weather. So it's perfect. They tested on us, and now it's working. Oh, we're giving them winter in spring. Fantastic. Oh, it's the dry season. Let's make it rain. Oh, they cycling. Let's make the wind so strong that they can't cycle in any direction. What, dude? Like, oh, what are we doing here? Oh, they've never had a tsunami. Let's wipe them out. There's never been a tornado in KwaZulu-Natal. Let's give them a tornado. Dude, they are controlling the weather. Who's they? I don't know. We'll figure it out. We will figure it out. But I'm pretty sure they're just testing this, and then they're going to use it on Russia or on China or on Ukraine or on Israel or on Palestine or the US or Mozambique or Sudan or Congo. The world is on fire, people. The world is on fire. So that's maybe just another weapon of war. Who can say? I don't know. But I know we don't care. We're like, bring it on. You want to make it hot in the winter? Cool. You want to make it cold in the summer? Fine. Make it snow. Give us a hurricane. We will survive. Okay, that's not true. Some people are not surviving. But anyways, I'm just talking about the South African spirit in general. We are a resilient people, you know? Like so many times you see like the complaints people have, like that are in other countries, especially countries that are in a I won't say a better position, but where most people are living comfortably. They're like, their biggest complaints is like something like, oh, the line is too long at Starbucks, you know. We're like, yeah, have you been at ShopRite on payday? You know, that's a long line, you know. So yeah, like, yeah, people have good problems. And here in South Africa, we don't really have good problems. We just have problems, you know. But like I said, man, that's life. Life is neither good nor bad. It just is. It is rather our perspective on it that makes it good or bad. And maybe if that's the case, maybe we can choose a good perspective. And that's what I choose, you know. If they're gonna use the weather to destroy us, I'm gonna rather just look at it as they can't destroy us with the weather, you know. We've been through so much in recent times. I mean, geez, you know, if you just look at like the 20th century in South Africa, what a crazy time. The 20th century in South Africa starts with a civil war, you know, like, and then they gain independence, but they're still keeping, the majority of the people oppressed. And then you give them some freedom, but you also segregate the population, and you deprive so many of their rights. And now that you finally grant them their rights, everything is impoverished, and people are greedy, and corruption is rampant. And now the weather is trying to destroy us. Nature hates us. Some people are like, oh, God hates us. Like, God doesn't hate. God is just God. Okay, God is love. And it's just that people are manipulating the weather, dude. I never thought it's possible. But this is making me think it's possible, dude. That there is someone messing with nature. And that is scary. That somebody has that power. You know what I mean? What else can they do? Is it aliens? Nah, let me not go there. Let me not go there because that's gonna leave me in a never ending loop of like of going down the rabbit hole. Let's just check the time. Look at the time. Oh my word. Okay, we're just beyond an hour. I think I'll end it there. This is a fun episode. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for joining me on my journey to explore my mind and explore the world at the same time. Thank you for your support. Oh man, like that means the most to me. And I'm sorry for not having posted last week. It was a rough time, and I'm sure you understand. And yeah, let's just focus on better times. So be good to yourself and be good to others. And I'll see you next week.